putting things in the barn. If you got hay in there in case there's a fire, then we lose the equipment too. But I think wherever possible, get our trucks, get our vehicles under cover the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We do that. It's hard to be honest, we try to keep them in there as much as possible, but at different times, when you're trying to bring a truck in and out and loading hay, you can't be moving, you're going to spend an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's easy for people to say, well, geez, you don't have anything in that barn. Well, if you're not down there every day to see what's going on, what's going in and out of the barns on a daily basis, it's hard to do that. So when those times come, when it's appropriate to keep it in there, I do keep them in as much as possible. And we're moving that to that transition right now because of fall time. The hay's out of there. We're going to have to keep certain area open because I'm going to be putting campfire wood in there. But we can still fit some in there. So yes, we'll be doing that.
When you're going to be mowing the new nursing home, does that would that mean that there would any of the prisoners have access to the mowing there? Would they be on the grounds mowing?
Yes. Just like they are on the rest of the complex.
Supervised.
I understand,
yes.
Supervised.
Yeah.
Okay. I would suggest you try to monitor what company is doing this. Do you know? Out of Wolfboro?
Yeah, they're right down off of 28 Carroll County Landscaping. Okay. I think is who Chris got.
It'd be good to find out how much time they spend mowing.
Yes, we asked Chris. I know Wayne had asked Chris if we could get what they're charging, just kind of give us an estimate of what it would cost to have someone like that come in and try to get the time and manpower that they're using.
Yeah. How'd we do on second crop?
Not as well as I would have liked to, mostly because we haven't had the greatest of weather to make it.
Yeah.
I did make up probably about 700 bales. A couple of them, a couple hundred, a storm was coming in. I had to bale it before it was really ready, so it became mulch hay. But we did get about 500 out, I believe, of good stuff. We still have some that if the weather cooperates, I'd still like to make some, at least make some mulch hay this fall if we can. But it's all on the weather. We've got a lot of rain, and it really made our fields really soggy.
Okay. Anybody from the public got any questions? Yes, Mr. Babson.
Well, if you have a organization that took our pumpkins and didn't pay, why don't you take advantage of the tape and mention who it is? If they didn't pay, they've got no leg to stand on, unless they wrote back and said they were all rotten. Perhaps the taxpayer would like to know who's taking their pumpkins and selling them and not paying.
Well, I think that's questionable as to whether he should say that here or not, at least this time around. If it happens again, maybe that's something else.
Well, it won't happen again because we're not selling them.
Well, that's the answer then. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I would like to know what advertising is done currently to sell the hay, the firewood, the corn stalks, that type of thing. Is it just basically word of mouth?
We do advertise for different things on the website. When I have a chance, I try to keep Stephanie updated so she can update the website. But a lot of, to be honest, I don't do a ton of advertising until we have enough product to sell, because there's times where the product's going out as quick as I can bring it in. There's really no reason to advertise. In this case, like I said, I just got back, and I do plan to get with Stephanie and to advertise on some of the pumpkins. But most of the products we do, we don't really have to advertise because it goes so fast.
Well, that's good. Sometimes you mention that the inmate population is down, so you have to juggle some things around to get the work done that you need to do. I was wondering if, at the county, if there are community service opportunities, or
yes, we do have some of those.
Come after school and volunteer. Is there?
I'm not sure about after school.
Is there room for volunteers, I guess is what I'm asking, or people that have community service that they need to fulfill?
Community service, we've had some of those people in different aspects, not necessarily on the farm. Might be working in the kitchen in the nursing home or whatever. As far as volunteers, I think we have we didn't need to check into it, but I think insurance or liability may enter into it. Maybe costly, more costly for us for insurance to insure volunteers.
I was just wondering if some of the high school students don't necessarily have a job or participate in sports, there might be some job learning opportunities available there after school for a couple hours during the school year or something. I didn't know if that was a possibility. And lastly, I'd like to know after the meeting if I could come down and take a picture of the pumpkins.
Sure.
Okay.
Have you taken a picture of the pigs?
I have. When they were very small, of course.
You should take a picture of them now. They've grown.
Yes, I should visit them.
Well, 3 of them are gone, right?
Yeah, 3 of them are gone.
Yeah. Never mind.
Didn't even say goodbye.
The community service, though, I've heard of them coming up to the farm and doing that. Since I've been here, it hasn't, but I would definitely have work for someone like that to do if it was. I would definitely accommodate that.
I think there's room for Boy Scouts or different youth groups that would like to brush out a cemetery type thing for credit or for Eagle Badge or whatever. I think that's a possibility as long as they do it, they organize it.
It would fall under their insurance.
Yeah.
Basically, too, if they were part of an organization already.
Right.
I remember when the fitness trail was built over at Effingham School, a substantial amount of time was used in folks that the police departments were contacted. Keep us in mind. We're looking for some help. If you have anybody that has community service hours, send them our way. And they did a substantial amount of that trail.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good thing I brought that up. We need to check with Wendy and see where we are on this nature trail. Now that the nursing home or the Mountain View Community Facility is up and running, now we need to see if that trail can't be put in. And it'd be nice if something could be laid out this fall, if not cut out, or things that need to be done to the trail, but at least get it laid out so that next spring we can really start in earnest and get that trail in. There's something else. Oh, I don't know what your planning schedule is, but and you're probably not prepared right now, but we need to look at what are your plans for the farm next year or 5 years down the road. I think you had talked about it, at least scheduling equipment replacement and so forth. We need to get a price for that truck, a firm price for a plow truck for the Mountain View community building, and a firm price for a snow blower for those sidewalks.
No, just a quick question on that. You want firm prices? Are we gonna have to bring in 3 bids, 4 bids, and B, how quickly are we looking at taking action? Because I've contacted these people last year, and of course the prices are going to change, and it just keeps to be redundant for my time to be asking if we're not going to take action on this. So that would be another question that they're possibly going to ask too, is when are you going to be looking at purchasing this?
We could go to the delegation on October 3rd and see if we could use some of that money that is in that miscellaneous
contingency.
Fund, which we have used very little of it. And I think the prices that you've mentioned to me earlier are not a big deal. It's just a case of whether the delegation would support doing that. I think it was talked about initially that we only have 1 plow truck.
Right.
If the plow truck breaks down, then we're stuck. Then we got to hire some other company to come in and plow at I think a tremendous expense, and you've figured that out already. What it would cost. So I think it's something that we need to look at, and if we got a firm price for October 3rd, it'd be great. If we don't, well, that's all right.
So would you
have to wait?
Would you like me to try to have 3 different bids for each piece, available for October 3rd?
If it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, 2 bids. You know, whatever you can get, but we like to have 3. Yes, Damon?
Well, did the supermarket fleece us out of the pumpkin money last year? And was it
Fleeces out.
was it in the hundreds or was it thousands or tens of dollars? Or?
It was last year, and it was less than a couple $100. I can tell you that.
Okay. Not worth going to court for, you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time on the phone, and that was more than plenty for what we had coming to us.
Where are we on the pole barn?
Still working on the dirt work. We really haven't gotten very far. We've gotten a good portion of it.
Materials.
Material, I haven't purchased any new materials.
Okay.
We're working on getting the topsoil off so that we could bring in, I'm hoping, I don't know when, we're going to do the demolition. We could get some of that crushed gravel to put on there.
Yeah.
That's our plan. But we want to have the pad all ready for that gravel, so when they take it down, they have it in the truck, they can dump it right out there for us.
Yep. Yep.
The problem we have is it's wet. So we've had a couple dry days. I plan on having him out there today working on it. But all the rainwater, it's just soaked straight up out in there, and it muds up, and you can't work on it. So it's kind of a slow process.
You think that's still the best site?
I think so, yes. We've done a lot of moving dirt around. I have some more to move around. Those big piles that were out there. But I think it's fine where it is. The topsoil isn't. One side it's pretty thick, but on the other side, because it's kind of a slope over there, the other side the topsoil really isn't that thick, so it's coming off quicker than I thought. It's just the wetness sitting in there.
Yeah.
And when we're going to elevate it with that crushed gravel that we get off of the construction over there. And I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, make sure you got a couple of sites to deposit that crushed stone or cement or whatever they're going to have, bricks and so forth. Even if it goes in that road that goes out there in the low spots. Was there a culvert ever put in on that as you go by the carriage shed?
Yes, there's 2 culverts throughout that road.
Okay.
But that stuff, we're going to have to look at that stuff. We can't just be depositing on the road because, from my understanding, is it could be up to 3 inches big of material, and we do plow that. So I can't just have all this material laying out there that's not going to be solid to try to be plowing and have it all over in our hayfields and everything else.
Right.
So we'll have to be careful about where we use that. On certain areas that we don't plow, we could definitely use it for fill.
Yeah.
And there are areas for that, but
Yeah.
certain areas where we do plow, we have to be careful of what we put out there.
Okay. Yeah, just make sure you got some sites to deposit that, because it's going to stay on the complex.
Is there any reason why we have to have all of it on the complex, or?
It's going to cost us money if we have to haul it off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Damon?
In terms of Representative Babson's point about getting the name of this supermarket, I would assume that non-public usually means affecting the reputation of somebody who's not an elected official. But if you talked about the amount owed and who owes it, I would think that would fall under budgetary and would be public. So that's where I come out.
Well, he made it public by saying he didn't collect less than $200.
Right.
And it wasn't worth pursuing it any further, so why don't we just...
Who it was in particular, who blew the hole in the budget. It's a small hole, but...
Well, it's a revenue.
Right. But like our revenues and expenses they're public documents. So I would think that the revenues would be equally public, and where the revenue was supposed to come from would be public.
I guess I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I have no clue as to who it is, and really, if it's less than a couple $100, one-time deal, yes.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything about that, but now that you mentioned that, it's the idea of the thing, David, that we went out and we put in the effort, we spent the money to do it, we picked it, we took it to them, and they refused to pay for it, whether it's $10 or $200. And what I was going to say, perhaps in the non-public session with Mr. Dewhurst, you could ask him if it would be all right to disclose the name of the person that still owes us money.
I thought of doing that, and in fact,
I mean,
we could probably take it to small claims court. This was last year?
It was last year.
I went